Hey guys, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's agenda, we have Jeromy Grimmett, founder and CEO of Rogue Space Systems, a new space startup company that is creating orbital robots, or however they like to call it, apparently Orbots, that will repair and service satellites using AI. So, welcome, Jeromy. Super happy to have you here today.
Hey, excited to be here, Eliza. Thank you so much.
So, why don't we start this interview by allowing yourself to introduce to our audience, to our engineering audience, if you can share a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Jeromy Grimmett. I'm CEO of Rogue Space Systems, and for Star Wars fans, we are building real-life R2-D2. For Star Trek fans, we're building Exacoms. So, actually, Star Trek Next Generation. So, if you're a fan of either of those, that should make sense for you.
Wow, pretty straight to the point. I'm pretty sure that most of the engineers hearing us are actually fans. I'm pretty sure that they are. And
Hey,
like,
we're all a nice big group, nice big community of nerds. So it's all good.
that's great. And like, were you always interested in space? How did your journey begin?
Well, everyone has that same story about, when I was a kid,
Okay.
I wanted to be an astronaut. When I was a kid, I wanted to build airplanes and things like that. And, I'm no different than most any of those. However, growing up in South Louisiana, that seemed a million miles away. And I think that one of the things that I'm really proud of that we're doing here at Rogue is we're trying to help people understand that space is not that far away. It's actually a lot closer than what you think. And it's really important to us, especially when it comes to kids. So we've been trying to help explain to them that, hey, sitting in our office in Laconia, New Hampshire, you're actually closer to space than you are Boston. Because kids understand it takes an hour and a half to drive to Boston. But if you're sitting in our office and you go straight up, well, you're 100 kilometers away from space. So you're closer to space in our office than you are Boston. And as soon as kids understand that it's like, this much distance in the top of a globe to get to space, then the possibilities open up in their minds, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for pretty much anyone that understands the concept of how close space is, because that was a challenge that I had. I didn't understand that I could do these things, that I could, go into a space company and build a business like this, that there was a community out there waiting to embrace the newcomers. And I think it's, I think it's one of our core values that we're trying to build community and help bring others into our little adventure of building space robots.
And I had another question. Like, I know that you, after high school, correct me if I'm wrong, I know that you joined the army. And was that your
Yes.
first approach to engineering, or did you have like any idea before?
Um, well, I mean, I was always a tinkerer and a modeler and you know, kid scientist, I suppose you could say. I was kind of, I was always taking stuff apart and putting things back together, uh, doing all these different types of things to try to understand how things work. And going into the army, it exposed me to a lot of technology and a lot of capability. And so I went to the MIT Space Conference on March 15th of 2019, and I literally walked out of the door after 8 hours and started what is now Rogue. Literally, it was just like that. I went to a conference, walked out, called my current partner, called my former partner, told him we're selling the company and I'm going to space, just like that. And I just simply decided, with my very, very understanding and supportive wife, that if I was going to go and start another company, if I was going to go do something, I wanted to do something big, massive, just no holds barred, leave it all on the field, bankruptcy if I had to, just leave it all out there, like just every bit of my energy, all of my focus, everything that I could possibly muster, I was going to put into this one thing. And if I was going to go, I was going to go big. And if I was going to fail, I was going to fail big. Like I was going to leave a crater in the landscape of business type of big, you know. So if we're going to go, baby, let's go. We're just going to go all out. And so far, it's starting to work out pretty well. So we'll see how it goes in the next couple of years. The investors are happy, so must be doing something right.
Okay, really interesting. And what will you say is the biggest problem that Rove is solving right now?
Well, there's a couple of things. So, and it's not a simple answer, as in this is it. This is all we're solving. Okay. So the reason I say that is because there's so many complexities inside the space domain. I'm just going to, I think it's better for me just to kind of walk you through the path of evolution, right?
Okay.
So when all of this started off as a research paper at school. That's how this started, was a research paper. And there was a statistic that said there were 300,000 debris strikes cataloged in a single year in space. And that just kind of blew me away. It's like 300,000 debris strikes. Now we're talking very, 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 very small debris, but that's what the US government said they potentially cataloged was 300,000 potential strikes. So that just started wearing on me thinking about it. And so our first foray was space debris. But I got news for you. Nobody was paying to remove space debris. There's no market for space debris. Well, there wasn't any market for space debris.
Okay.
So we were talking to insurance companies, satellite operators. We were just like going down the list of everyone we could think of to figure out where is this product or service market fit. Okay. Space debris was not it. So we said, okay, what about satellite servicing? So we were on a call, no joke, hand to God. We were on a phone call and we're talking to an insurance company. And one of the engineers, an engineer, spacecraft engineer, okay, the systems engineer,
Okay.
decades of experience. This is what he says. Guys, if y'all had a way to go to space and jiggle, you know what I mean? Jiggle,
Yeah.
okay? Jiggle the solar panel loose, that would be incredible. I've been in a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff in a lot of years. I've been in business a lot of years. But the one thing I never thought I would ever hear is the combination of words satellite, space, jiggle. It blew me away because that is such an unsophisticated term, right? It's like, these guys really do not have a solution. Okay, now we're into something. Now we've got something, okay? And so as we're going through this process, ultimately in early 2020, General Thompson goes on Space News and says, hey, we're gonna pay private companies to remove space debris. Awesome.
That's what we want to do.
I'll take that. But there's direct correlation between removing space debris and servicing a satellite, because you got to get really close, got to touch it, and then you got to be able to maneuver. You got to, everything that you do for space debris, you have to do for satellite servicing. So we were already on the track for satellite servicing. So we started off with space debris. We went to satellite servicing. Then Space Force said, we need you to remove space debris. And so we went back to space debris. And it's a great analog because we're developing all the same technologies. We're just repackaging it, really. So the exact same stuff, the exact same tech, the exact same work. But Space Force said, remove debris. Okay, fine. We'll go remove debris. That's fine. As long as the money's hitting the bank, homie, I'm good.
Have you had any challenge when it comes to the procurement process? Like getting all the hardware parts in order to build the robots or stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say that there's two. So there's two different. You have two different ends of the spectrum. There is supply chain issues because there's just no availability. Okay. And then there's supply chain issues because the company is moving so fast that the industry is not normally building things at the speed that the company, the purchaser, needs them.
Okay.
Those are two different issues. Our supply chain issues have been more of the latter, or excuse me, of the latter, where the space companies or the manufacturers are not accustomed to space companies needing things within a few weeks. Okay. Normally, programs deliver things in months or years.
No,
it's like, hey,
I need it now in order to build.
I need now. I got a launch window. I got a flight. I've already booked my SpaceX flight. I need this now. I need it now. Well, wait a minute. When are you launching? Well, we're launching in November, so I need my stuff now. Well, wait. Have you already done this? Dude? I don't need you to engineer my spacecraft. I just need you to send me the part so I can get it on my rocket. Okay. So it's not to say that we haven't had any supply chain like issues, but the way that Rogue engineers, the way that we iterate, the way we design, the way we do things is drastically different from the traditional space industry mantra. So we use a very hybrid program and project management approach that allows us to go really fast. It seems to be working. So far, everything's on time. So, hey,
that's great.
We're gonna see if it works.
Launching? Is it actually going to be? When are you planning on launching? Is it actually going to be in November?
Yes. Right now, the only thing that we're waiting on is finalization of a license. Right now. Once our license in place, we'll do an official announcement, but tentatively we're putting up one space. Right now our launch schedule is we have one spacecraft going up November, one spacecraft going up February 15th, and two more spacecraft in May 15th. So and then another fifth one going up Q1 of 24. But that one's kind of an outlier because it's going to a different place in space.
Okay.
So there's actually going to be more programs. There's going to be more spacecraft that we launch between May and Q1 of 24. There's going to be more between that. But right now our line of sight is over the next 10 months. So effectively we're running 5 spacecraft programs simultaneously while executing 11 Space Force contracts. Wow. So yeah, we're busy.
Yeah, I mean, you sound busy. This is really exciting news. And I mean, okay, I have two remaining questions because I know that you're super busy. The first one is like, why? Because I was reading through the page and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Why will you name with actual real names the robots? Like what?
That's a great question. I really appreciate you asking me that. So, okay, one of them's kind of funny, and the rest of them are kind of sentimental. Well, they are sentimental. So Rogue, Rogue wanted to put humanity into things. See, you have all these acronyms in space and stuff like that. Well, we didn't want to go that route. You know, we have a couple of acronyms, okay, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to have them actually mean something, you know. So, for example, Barry. We live in this, or we don't live. We work in this really crappy office. Like it's this old mill, this old textile mill building. Um, Ask Katie to send you some pictures, or you might even see some pictures online. It's a real. I'm sorry, it's a shithole. Okay, and but it's awesome at the same time. It's like total crap, but it's also awesome at the same time. And we have a bat, like a little bat.
Okay, an
Yeah,
actual
like a yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So we actually have a little bat that flies around the office in the evenings and at night. And he comes out during the day every now and then. He squeaks. And so we named him Barry. So that's one of the spacecraft is Barry. And the spacecraft actually kind of looks like a bat, so it works out. Laura was named after my adoptive mother that passed away a couple of years ago. Charlie is named after one of my co-founders' dad, who actually worked on the Timation satellites for Naval Research Lab. And Fred is named after another co-founder's father-in-law who passed away, and he was a bit of a tinkerer. So we tried to associate
Personal
part of who we
experience.
are. Yeah,
Yeah.
we tried to associate part of who we are with these programs because it means more. You know, it ties us together really strongly. So that's kind of become a tradition. So now each new iterative part of a spacecraft program gets a name. I'm not sure who's up next.
And last but not least, do you have any advice for future entrepreneurs or people starting on this tech path?
Oh, geez. Frankly, I wasn't expecting that one.
Something that you have learned in the way?
Don't be intimidated by venture capital. Don't be intimidated by VCs. There are some highly adept and knowledgeable VCs, but 9 times out of 10, they really don't know in depth about your market. They don't know in depth about your technology. They will bring in expertise to try and filter it out. But you know, I was pretty intimidated by VCs. And what I learned is that these people are trying to learn about this stuff just as much as you are. And that if you find the right VCs, like we have Celdor Capital, we have Regolith, okay? These guys are just incredible. They're down in the trenches with you. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for partners. Build community. Don't just build a partnership. Build a community amongst your team, your investors, and just be true to you. Just be you. Just be yourself. Don't worry about being anything anybody else is or thinks that you should be. Don't try to portray yourself as something that you're not. Just be you, because I got news for you. The investors, VCs, the partners, whoever they are, they're either going to partner or be with you or they're not. It's binary. They're either with you or they're not. And it's better for you to know in the moment whether they like you, they want to be with you, who you really are, or not. Because when the tough gets going, you need to know who's in that foxhole with you. So that would be my advice. That's what I think.
Jeromy, and you said that you were not prepared for this question. I mean, this is the best answer.
Well, look, I'm quick on my feet. I can be.
This was
But
great.
I'm also mentoring a few startups, and I'm trying to help them. And it's not to say I've never gotten asked that question, but
Mm.
I think that's probably the biggest thing. Just be you, man. Just be you, and find people. Always, here's another good one. Always hire smarter people than you are. Don't
That's
ever,
horrible.
ever, do not ever be the smartest guy in the room. Don't do it. That is like the worst thing ever. Because if you're the smartest guy in the room, and if you believe that, then you should not be the CEO. You should not be that is a bad place to be, because that's when that's when those blind spots are going to get you. You always want smarter people than me. That was number one piece of advice my daddy gave me. Don't ever be the smartest guy in the room. Make sure the smartest guy in the room's working for you or
Wow,
with you.
great.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, thank you so much, Jeromy, for taking the
You're
time
more
for
than welcome.
these helpful advices. Do you have any social media handles? Where can people find you?
Yeah, we're on Twitter at Rogue Space Corp. You can go to our website, rogue.space. I mean, if you just Google Rogue Space Systems, you're going to dig us up. You kind of run right into us. It's not hard to find my fat bearded rear end on the internet somewhere. So
We'll
yeah,
make sure to find you then.
yeah, it's not hard to find me. It's not hard to find Rogue.
Okay. Thank you. Remember, guys, that you can also find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews, just like this one, directly on our website, controlhub.com/builder-nation. We would love to hear from you. And once again, Jeromy, thank you so much for this great interview, this great advice, and hopefully we'll get to connect soon.
Hey, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Hope I wasn't too long-winded. So thank y'all.